But one of the stocks of the moment definitely is Nazara Technologies, up 4.5% as we speak. This is a CNBC-TV18 Newsbreak. Nazara Tech will be issuing 14 lakh equity shares to MS Kamath Associates, which is a partnership firm represented by the Kamath brothers, Nikhil and Nitin Kamath. We have Nikhil Kamath, the co-founder of Zerodha, who's joining in as well. Nikhil, thanks a lot for being with us. If you can just start by telling us what was the rationale behind this investment, and is it just done at this point, or do you plan to raise your stake further in the company?
Hi, Sonia. Good morning.
Morning.
Broadly, the thesis for me has been, especially in the younger generation, I think the feedback loop that interactive content provides is gaining a large amount of traction. I think this space, which is gaming and esports, will grow at a pace faster than old school content. So the only real listed player in India is Nazara, and they seem to have done an exceptional job under Nitish in kind of alleviating a lot of the issues they have faced in the last many years, and they seem set for growth, and we really like the sector. Yeah, but very likely I'm looking at this as a really long-term play and would love to engage with them more in the future, maybe increase and play the esport gaming thing through them.
So how much will your stake be in Nazara Tech now? How much was it earlier? How much have you raised it to? And eventually, I mean, when you talk about long term, what would your eventual game plan be?
So my larger bet is in 10 years from now, gaming will be a bigger part of the ecosystem than it is today. And the stake was about 1%. I think now it should be up to about 3.5%.
And you'd want to, Nikhil, hi, morning, Prashant here. You'd want to, hi, congratulations. You'd want to take it up, not like a aspirational number or anything, but you'd want a sort of meaningful stake here eventually?
I would presume so. I would presume so, because Prashant, the rate of growth of gaming, especially in the 20 and below age category, is crazy, across the world, not just in India. Unlike cricket and Bollywood and other mediums of content, which are one way essentially, where a user is pulling data but is not interacting with the data, I think the fact that a user can interact with the data and he's kind of like engaging with it so much more, I think that is a big use case for what the youth of today will want 5, 10, 15 years from now. So gaming and esports, the logic, I think, seems pretty clear across the world. And Nazara being the incumbent behemoth in India seems like a very logical place for me to have increased exposure.
Right. Would you, apart from, of course, the check that you write, but would you want to be involved in a more sort of, not, at a board level and stuff? Eventually, I mean, they'd be happy to have you, I imagine. Are there any possibilities for Zerodha and Nazara to kind of work together? Any synergies you see there? I mean, to bring to bear Zerodha's technological capabilities for Nazara in any way?
No, nothing at all. So this has nothing to do with Zerodha, really.
Okay.
Zerodha will not be investing into this. This is more of a personal investment for me. But I don't know about being on the board or being actively engaged, because even though I have a thesis on the sector, I don't particularly have an expertise that I presume will be useful to them. But I'd love to, learn more about this sector and kind of be in it for the long term, because I feel in a decade from today, the sector will hold a lot more relevance than it does today.
So, esports for Nazara, which is, I think, almost 50% of their revenues comes from the esports segment, that saw fabulous growth in the last year. I mean, in FY23, esports, the revenues were up almost 75%. Do you think this pace of growth is something that is sustainable, I mean, over the next couple of years, or could it even be better than that?
I would presume it's likely that it will continue to grow at a quick pace. If you look at other geographies outside of India, some of these gaming companies have become ridiculously large. an Indian incumbent which is doing all these innovative things around esports and gaming, I think has to be encouraged. And hopefully this Indian company one day will actually compete with these larger international players as well.
Okay. Nikhil, what is the size of the investment for you, this 3%?
In terms of money
Yeah,
value?
in terms, yes, money value.
I think it should be about 160 crores, if I'm not wrong.
Okay. Just to get a sense, you are an investor in many sort of startups and companies, and I mean, you're a very active investor. I mean, for viewers watching, since this is listed, many will kind of look at this and say, well, Nikhil Kamath is coming in. So would you describe this as one of many sort of investments you make across segments, across companies, both listed, unlisted, mostly unlisted? Is that the way to look at this?
Yeah, that would be the way to look at it. I have a bunch of different themes, Prashant. I think senior living is one, gaming, esports is one. We do a lot around consumption because we kind of have a broader thesis that consumption is set to go up in India. So in these sectors, we kind of keep investing, mostly private, less so public. But I think this fits into our portfolio really well.
Which are the other listed investments, Nikhil, apart from this?
There's a fair amount, Prashant. There's quite a few of them. We typically like to take minority stakes. By minority, I mean much lower than 5% even. But there are a whole host of companies.
Okay, I think we'll have to have another special interaction with you on that, right? On your several investments. I do know that you're interested in a lot of fintech companies. You're doing a lot in senior living, as you mentioned as well. We'll come to that later. Just one final question from my end on Nazara, because, the stock as we speak is up about 5%. So I'm sure our viewers would want to know more. And since you've had several talks with them and their management, you're convinced on that front. Nazara has been investing recently in some game developers abroad as well. There was an Israeli-based game developer, Snacks Games, that they invested into. What else are they doing in the overseas market where you see, high growth potential?
Well, Sonia, I really shouldn't comment on that, but I think they have a bunch of really interesting things in the pipeline in that specific domain. But I think the onus would be on them to kind of announce it when they're done with the deal.
Sure. All right. We'll leave it at that, Nikhil. Appreciate your thoughts and, all the best with your investments. Thanks a lot for speaking to CNBC TV18.
Thank you.
Okay, that is the big breaking news of the moment. Nazara Technologies now up almost 5%, and billionaire investor brothers Nikhil Kamath and Nitin Kamath investing in the company. They've invested actually in many listed entities in small amounts, as he said, but gaming is a space that he's focusing on in a big way.